Hello and welcome. This is Angie with thecountryshootcottage.net. So a few weeks ago, I did a video on Cricut car decals, and I talked about what material was best to make those decals with. I had a request on that video to talk about removing the car decals. When you're done with them, how easy is it? You know, maybe you want to change it out for a different look. How do you change out those decals on your car when you make them with your Cricut machine? So I thought I would take my sample piece that I made to try the materials and try to remove them. I did want to note before we take a look at that I personally only recommend putting car decals on the window. I've never tested any on the painted portion of my car because I don't actually like to put stickers on my car. So this is for like window tests only, just FYI. I don't endorse this at all for like the painted surface of your car. So let's take a look at that sample and how to remove those decals. All right, so these are my test samples from that other video that I mentioned. I'll link to that again below. These have been on here for over 4 weeks. They've been sitting outside in order to run the test. This one's regular vinyl, and these are different versions of printable vinyl. So we're gonna remove each one of these. You can see the differences and the one that I recommend, and I'll leave that link in the description. You also need some sort of scraper. An old gift card works fine for this. You might need Glue Gun and some paper towels to remove any lingering adhesive. So I just kind of start working the scraper up underneath the vinyl. And sometimes, if you'll notice there, it started coming off in pieces. Sometimes it'll actually kind of lift up and you can pull it up in a longer piece. So this is actually lifting up just a little bit. So now I can get a larger piece of this up. And as you can see, it's removing fairly easily. And this is the one that is permanent adhesive vinyl. So then I'll just start the next one. And you don't have to use the scraper, like you could just use your fingernails. Not everyone has fingernails, so a scraper or old credit card comes in handy in those cases. And there's barely any adhesive residue, there's a little bit. I like to rub over with the Glue Gun when I'm done, just to ensure I get all that adhesive. So I'm just going to continue in the same manner for this whole decal. Then we'll take a look at the printable versions. All right, so next off is some of these printable versions. And I did want to mention, so I'm using this scraper tool. I mentioned the old credit card. You could also use a razor blade, especially if the product is really thin. A razor blade might work best to get under there. So I just have like a craft knife, and sometimes that is like what you need, so it's super thin. Razor blade absolutely works as well. And then you can kind of get up underneath there, just get that decal started. And then once again, it'll probably peel off in one piece. It might break on you, but there's that one off. And this was the Cricut brand of printable vinyl. Then this one is the Oracal version. And this glass is dirty from the writing from my experiments, if you watch that other video. But that is not anything that the vinyl left at all. Repeating this in the same manner. Now this is kind of a two-part. So you have like the vinyl itself, and then you have a laminate on the top. And that is wanting to separate in a few areas. I find it easier to kind of try to lift them all at once. If you just cannot get it, you can peel them both off separately. And I am having to use quite a bit of force to peel it, but it's not horrible. So I got that one off. And then this is the StarCraft version. Again, it has a laminate on the top. This one is super, super thick. I'm gonna again try to lift them both at once. If you can't do that, you can peel the laminate and then the vinyl separate. And these are definitely leaving a little glue residue. Again, that Glue Gun will just take care of that really quickly. And we'll just add some at the end. And this is the StarCraft, and it's definitely leaving the most glue residue. I don't really know why. All right, so there they all are, all off of there. We'll just spray a little bit of Glue Gun onto the surface. And you just want to let that sit like a few minutes to let it kind of start working on that glue, and then we'll wipe it away. All right, so once this is sat a few minutes, we can just use some kind of rag to get that all up. And then once we've gotten all of this up, all that glue is off there, you can definitely scrape on that glue some. Then you can use the Goo Gone again if you need to. If everything comes up, then you will need to clean the area with soap and water to remove any residue from the Goo Gone itself. But this stuff is pretty amazing and does a really good job. And I don't know if you can see, but there's just a bunch of adhesive coming off of this area. And so I'll just continue to kind of scrape and apply Goo Gone until my glass is clean. So now after everything's off, I have a clean piece of glass. And so this represents my car window. I would have a clean car window ready for that next application if I wanted to, or just to leave plain. Now, if you're going to apply another decal to the surface, be sure to go back and watch that video. I'm going to link it below, and make sure that you clean the window again with the rubbing alcohol, all the steps that we used before to get it to adhere properly, because you definitely don't want it coming off. So hopefully this answers all the questions you have about car decals. But if it doesn't, drop a comment below. So if you have a question about anything we've covered today, or a question about like car decals in general, feel free to drop that below. If you like this video, if it helped you, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel. I think we'll have some videos that you love. You can watch those while you're there. And be sure to hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of our future videos. So thank y'all so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.